Stepped into my situation. She gave me all that she gave me. I want to, this is why I'm thinking about it. Let me thank all of those that came over to Mount Bethel New Year's Day. You were a blessing to me. We thank God for your prayers and your support. I forgot to mention Sister Stephanie Bird. Her aunt ain't sweet. Funeralized yesterday. We want to pray for that Samuel family. Let's hear a word from the Lord. I want to preach from Psalms 142. Psalms number 142. The 142nd number of the Psalm. Now, Deacon Edward Collins didn't know what I was going to preach. But in our devotion, he read, I cried to the Lord. Psalm 142 says, I cried out to the Lord with my voice. With my voice to the Lord, I made my supplication. I poured out my complaint before him. You don't ever have to worry about surprising God. What's on your mind? Stop playing around stuff and just tell him what you want. Tell him you're mad. You ain't gonna surprise him. He know what's on your mind. Verse 3 says, when my spirit was overwhelmed with envy, then you knew my path and the way in which I walk. They have secretly set a snare for me. Look on my right hand.
Yes, sir.
And see, there's no one who acknowledges me. Refuge has failed. No one cares for my soul. You read the rest of it.
Yes, sir.
I want to preach about cry practice. This Psalm 142 is a psalm of instructions in prayer. And Jesus has a prayer habit. He was divine, but he prayed. He is perfect, but he prayed. He's sinless, but he prayed. He's blameless, but he prayed. He's pure and holy, but he prayed. Jesus had a prayer habit. Now there's a difference between praying your prayers and saying your prayers. When I grew up, Mother and them taught me the Lord's Prayer. And I'd get down on the side of the bed. Our Father, Lord in heaven, hallowed be thy name. And say my prayer. And they'd ask me, did you say your prayer? Yes, ma'am, I said it. But when I got older, I stopped saying my prayer and started praying my prayer. Jesus taught us to pray. Before his baptism, he prayed. Before his transfiguration, he prayed. Before calling the 12 disciples, he prayed. Before Gethsemane, he prayed. He had a habit. He preached all day and prayed all night. He had a prayer habit. Trying to get you to see if Jesus had to pray. What about you and I? Jesus' disciples asked him one day, Lord, teach us. Watch them now. They asked the Lord to teach them to pray. See, they had seen him do miracles, but they didn't ask him, teach us how to do miracles. If you teach us to pray, some miracles will happen. They heard him preach, but they didn't ask him to teach us how to preach. If you just teach us to pray, there'll be some preaching in the house. They saw him heal the sick, but they didn't ask Jesus, teach us how to heal. Just teach us to pray. Now, they didn't ask him to teach us how to pray, but they asked, teach us to pray. Because you learn how by praying. Amen. You see, I had a member once that told me I just can't get my words right in my prayer. I said, well, he'll work on you. And trouble came in her life. And she told me, Pastor, I sure been praying. I said, oh, you can get them right now. Trouble will teach you how to pray. Sickness will teach you how to pray. I'll tell you something else. Finances. Yes, you're talking about they was poor. We was poor and didn't know it. Because there was so much love. I didn't even know I was poor. I thought I had everything. And I did. Because I had love. Oh, church, the Lord will give us some cry practice. For Jesus showed us when to pray. And he prayed early in the morning. Somebody say, I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Jesus. And somebody else took up that song and said, I tell you what, just a little talk with Jesus will make it all right. And Jesus taught us where to pray. He prayed in all situations. Then he showed us why to pray. And to pray is to acknowledge I need some help. And I need help from the Lord. Church, in Psalms 142, King David is running from Saul. You do know Saul tried to kill David. And David ran up in a cave. And while he was in the cave, depression set in. And oppression set in. I don't know how you feel about it, but there's still some of us running up in caves. Yeah, think the cave is our refuge. David found out, though he was in the cave, that wasn't his refuge. God. Y'all missed it. He was in the cave. And he was using the cave for what he thought was a hiding place. But he found out this cave ain't the one protecting me. God is my refuge and my strength. So you see, David had learned not to pray over his situation. But he, in our colloquial term, he got down to the nitty-gritty. He told God exactly what's on his mind. He said, Lord, I'm tired of this man running me down, throwing javelins at me and Nobody cares about me, and I'm supposed to be king over Israel, and they got me running around like a common criminal. I'm tired of this. Well, maybe you ain't ever been there, but life will throw you some curves. People will disappoint you. Those you thought was on your side, you'll find out they shucking and jiving too. And so he got to the point where he said, I cried unto the Lord. Now, I really wanted to cry out vocally, but if I cried out too loud, Saul would have heard me. And so I had to pray. Y'all ain't never been there. I couldn't pray out loud. Yeah, now, be careful, because they trying to lead us in a wrong direction. You in an assembly of folk, and they tell you, let's have a moment of silence. A moment of silence ain't prayer. You just being quiet. But you see, we've got an advantage of folks with other gods. But we got a God that knows our thoughts. They don't even have to come out of my mind. He's a mind reader. And then he's a mind regulator. He knows what I'm thinking before I even think it. God Almighty, I love the Lord. Now, David said, I'm all alone. Nobody cares about me. He said, I looked on my left, wasn't nobody there to help me. And I looked on my right, and nobody was there to help me. I didn't have no help nowhere. And I felt like I was all alone. Well, if you put a hyphen in between the L and the O of all alone, you got all one. And it's not good to be all one. For you need somebody to walk with. You need somebody to talk with. And not only are we all one, we got nerve enough to tell people, leave me alone. Do you really want to be alone? I hear the Lord telling Adam, it's not good to be alone. You need a company keeper. So David said, I prayed to the Lord, and he heard my cry. You may have heard me say this, but sound like it'll work good here. us with 3 children. And my wife got a gift that I don't have. Because to me, crying is crying. But to her, there's a different cry. Sometimes the children will cry, and she said, they're hungry. Sound like crying to me. And they cry again. She said, that diaper need changing. Just noise to me. And then they cry. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Then they cry again. Say that baby's sick. Then they cry again. She said, ain't nothing wrong with her. It's something the Lord put in her that's not in me. And I think the Lord kept some of it for himself. Because I love the Lord. He heard my cry. And then he didn't get my cry mixed up with your cry. For both of us crying at the same time. But he knows what I need. And then he knows what you need. I know how you feel. It just feels like in this life that we got more ways to communicate than we've ever had before. And with all the ways of communication, we got more lonely people than we've ever had before. We got smartphones and dumb people. We got this thing all twisted up. We got more email than we do email. And we ought to cry unto the Lord. Get your face out of that book and put it in this other book. And you hear an answer to your cry. I love the Lord. He heard my cry. When you see the world don't care anything about me, because to the world I'm just a number. I got a social security number. I got a number on my driver's license. I got a number at the bank. I got a number on my address. All I am is a number. The light company gave me a number. The gas company gave the telephone a number. They don't even want to know my name. Just give me your number. Let me know you don't care nothing about me. Just want my number. Then most people don't care nothing about you. They'll talk a highway into a trail, but they don't care anything about you. They talk a good game. When it comes down to help us, and I can't blame them. For you see, most of us got more trouble than you can handle. So what you gonna do to add my trouble, your trouble? I don't care. people don't care, but I love the Lord. I love the Lord. I love the Lord. Yeah, He gives me some cry practice, and the reason why He gives me cry practice. I don't know if you ever paid any attention to tears, but tears speak a universal language. I don't care if you speak German or French or Swahili, whatever your language is. When I see tears falling, your tears speak a language all by itself. That's why I get so happy when I think about what the Lord got in store for me. He promised that one of these days, I'm going all tears. Oh, you know what's going to happen? I won't have to cry. I won't have to cry. You see, what He's going to do, Dave? He's going to take away everything that causes me to cry. And when He take away trouble, sorrow, death, sickness, thieves, robbers, liars, backbiters, I won't have nothing to cry about. Because He's going to wipe all tears. Church, the Lord loves us. And since He's given us some cry practice, He wants us to bring you and your tears to Him. Other folks gonna add to it. They're gonna let you down. David, first of all, thought his shelter was in the cave. But that ain't where his help was. His help came from the Lord. Y'all with me? Too many of us think taking a drink gonna help. You're gonna be drunk and broke. Because it's gonna take you money. You don't drink free. You only get the first drink free. The other one, you gotta pay for it. That's gonna get you going. But the Lord, He loves us. He loves us so, church, not God. But He was born for me.
Yes, He was.
He died for me. He got up for me. He's coming back for me. In between His birth and His coming, I love the Lord. You heard? My cry. And then he don't get tired of it. And our mother used to say, if you don't straighten up, I'm going to give you something to cry. Anybody ever heard that? And then tell you, fix your face up. And you trying to stop sniffing. Should have been crying right now. And then while they whooping you, tell you shut up. Stop hitting me, I can stop crying. But the Lord, he heard my cry and pitied my every one. Now this, and I'm going to extend the invitation. You ought to repeat this next stanza of that song. It says, as long y'all heard it? You ought to help me say that. As long as the Lord has given us another year, a new year, as long as I live, not if trouble, and trouble, watch trouble. Trouble never go down, it always rises up. And I've had trouble to get pregnant. And trouble give birth. One problem give birth to some twins. And you say if it ain't one thing, let's say that again. As long as I live, some of y'all ain't open your mouth. And trouble, what? Now hold it right there. What does hasten mean? That means, there you go down there. That's good. That's good. Now, do that slow motion thing. Come this way. That ain't hastening. That ain't hastening. He's on the way to the throne, but look at him. I guess I'll go. I done tried everything else. Maybe I'll try it. I'll go back again. Now when I get ready to hasten to the throne, and you know why he gets in a hurry? He knows he can get some help. Now listen, the throne is always open, 24/7, waiting on you to come to morning, noon, and night, hasten to the throne. What else he have to do? He woke you up this morning. gave you health and strength. And you come in here troubled and leave troubled instead of hastening to the front. Do you love him? I know one thing, he loves you. Anybody that's putting up with you this long, he loves you. Issue is how much I love him. But we only love him because he first loved us. Brother Patrick, give us a song. I want to see if anybody's interested in hastening to the throne. The throne of God is open. You can get some relief from all of your tears. Would you come? I'm just temporary relief. Your tears are just a release of the pain they told me they lied. Say big boys don't cry. Trouble came. I did all I could do. Anybody know what I mean? But they told me, big boys don't. They lied. Big boys, big men too. That's a relief. All right, Sister Cynthia.
Pastor, we have Brother Tyrone Evan renewing his membership.
Yes, sir, I do. I love the Lord. I'm not really a crybaby, but Lord loved me so much. You're welcome with you. First of all, I want to thank you. The second one, I live church family. For all your prayers, your thoughts, your loving ways. When I didn't think I will make it. Many of you may not know it, but I felt at home. My blood pressure went low, and I went into a blackout. I was just going to the restroom, and I couldn't see. I was still conscious, but I couldn't feel my way out of the restroom. And I finally felt the opening, and I fell face forward. And Joyce was there with me. And I had an out-of-body experience because I was telling me I could get up. Get up, Tyrone, you can make it. And I was falling further away. But I was encouraging myself to get up. And Joyce helped me get up. I don't remember this, but she told me later and pulled me up. And called 911. It took 911 20 minutes to get to my house. While she was in the other room, for some reason, out of unconsciousness, I got up again. And I took 3 steps, and I felt like a blank on the back of my head. And concurred a traumatic brain injury. And 911 came and took me to Memorial Hermann. And they ran 2 CT scans, one on my brain, one on my neck and my brain, x-rays on my hips, my back. Everything came back negative. No fractured skull, no hemorrhaging, no bleeding in my brain. Thank you, Lord. I was sluggish, had a little headache. I said, I'm going to go home. That was on the Saturday. Sunday, I just kind of laid around. Monday, I didn't feel like going to work. Tuesday, I got up and I drug myself into work. I worked Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I was kind of stumbling around, moving real slow and getting a bad headache. I went to the urgent care. They say, I can't do anything with you. You need to see your PCP. Saturday, I had a lunch date with my mom and my sister, and I drove myself to Grace's restaurant while we were going to meet. No, I drove myself to your house. You drove us because I couldn't drive. By the time we got to Grace's, I couldn't stand up. They put me in the car and took me to St. Luke's, and they began to run more tests. And I had a massive migraine. If you ever had a migraine, you know what I'm talking about, but if you haven't, it's horrible. It was a migraine out of this world that they couldn't get rid of. They tried everything to reduce this migraine headache. After I had been there 4 days, they still couldn't get rid of it. I said, I'm not leaving until you figure out what's wrong with me. They took an MRI with contrast. And that's when they found out I had 4 millimeters of cerebral hygroma on my brain. I had that much extra brain fluid that had built up. And that's what was keeping me from standing up, because when I tried to stand, it would be so much pressure on my brain I couldn't stand. All I could do was cry out. I told my mom, take me home with you. I can't make it on my own. And I went home with her. And while I was lying in that bed, all I could do was cry and say, Lord, what would you have me do? I've never expected anything like this to happen. You never know what's going to happen to you, when it's going to happen to you, why it's going to happen to you. God knows, but you don't know. While I'm laying there in my bed, this is my safe haven, my refuge. My eyes and my ears were sensitive to light and sound. I couldn't stand sound. Mom would cut all of the lights out. We'd sit around in the dark together. The TVs would go off because I couldn't handle the sound. We'd be in the choir together. Whatever my need was, she would meet it. If you're talking about a mother, the best mother this side of heaven, whatever I needed, she was there. I was in a wheelchair for 3 weeks, church. Till finally I got to my personal care physician. I got to physical therapy. And at physical therapy, they took me out of that wheelchair. Got me on my feet. While y'all was praying. They said, I want you to walk from here to that place over there. And I walked that and walked back. They built me up to 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. I could stand up and sit back down. 5 minutes, I could sit up and stand back down. Then when I went home, they gave me some homework. Walk down to the corner and back. I had work to do to try to build myself back up. She said, I want you to start walking 30 minutes a day and build that up to 30 minutes a day. But I'm telling you, whenever you try to do good, there are setbacks. Long story short, I went through a series of more tests. I worked real hard to get on my feet. And the prayers of the righteous that availeth much has brought me through. I kind of put it like this, you know, when the disciples was in the boat with Jesus and Jesus was asleep, and the storm came, and they got scared and woke Jesus up. He said, "Oh, ye of little faith." I'm in the boat, y'all, right now today. The storm is still going on. I still need your prayers as I build my faith around what God is having, what He wants to have me to do. As I rededicate my membership to this church, I come as a servant. I come as a sinner, needing God. And I pray that you continue to pray for me and pray my strength in the Lord.
Pastor, we have Sister Vaughn. She come for prayer.
Sister Vaughn. All right, who else we have? Sister Vaughn. We're going to close this service with a prayer. Now, I want you to know God will.
Yes, He will.
answer.
Yes, He will.
God is waiting on you to get in His will and His way. You should have had this baby in Sunday school this morning. You with me? I want you to grow. I'm going to shake your hand. Bring on. You come on. And get you a prayer partner. You can make it, man. You can make it.
Amen.
Don't let Satan tell you can't make it. You can make it. You're a single mother? How many single mothers God is there? See how all of me is? You'll never get it.
I ain't gonna hold you long, but I want to rededicate myself to our church too. For the year 2020.
All right.
All through 2019, I was working, didn't want to, but God brought me through. And all I've been through, all I have done, and the things I have did, the things I have been through, God was right there with me. And here is the beginning of 2020.
All right.
I never would have thought I'd make 68 years old. And it's all due to the grace of God for what He brought me through, where He's taken me to,
Yeah, brother.
and I give Him the glory. And like Brother Tyrone, I want to rededicate myself to the church, to my God, for all that He has done for me.
All right. Here you are.
Pastor, Sister Young, church family. They say big babies don't cry, but I ain't gonna cry today. Just today. Pastor, you bless my heart. Friday when I came to hear you speak, and you was talking about 2020. MD 2020. I said, yeah, I can attest to that. But my MD in 2020, I don't even know how to say it. God is just good. And my MD is my deliverance. He taught me in a mighty long way.
Yeah, brother.
And Frog, you blessed me too today, brother. I didn't want to say that.
All right. Who else? Oh, Sister Stella, Sonia. Let's say amen. Yes, surgery.
I just had to stand up to face the audience, brothers and sisters in Christ, and my pastor, that I thank you all for your calls, your prayers, your cards, and if I failed to call anyone, I want to apologize right now. That was one of the things that I didn't do in 2019 in my recovery. I think the last that I talked with Sister Young, it was that when I got home, on that particular day, I just had to get myself together, have peace and contentment, because I had been through a lot of things. The surgery was fine. In no pain, and I had my share of falls, but never broken anything, but arthritic condition had just gotten over my body. So I thank God for this. I thank Pastor for the sermon that he preached this morning, because I could have had that one back in November, because I did do a lot of crying. I'm up and I'm going now. I have some more therapy that I will take, but yesterday I think I was telling Sister Mouton or Kalada One that I was standing at the door and I wanted some water and I forgot my walker at the door and I walked to the kitchen. So I'm moving slowly in the house. Hopefully I'll be on my cane in a little while. I can't go too far without this. But God has shown me a lot of things through everything that I go through with my healing, with my going through, and it's just like I'm in a tunnel. And it's dark, and I'm trying to find my way through. That there are things that God wants me to do, but I have to do it the way that He wants me to do it. I can't do it with nobody else wanting me to do it their way or my way, but I have to do what the Lord has for me to do. I want to thank my family was very good on this time. Mark had me to go up 13 steps that he had upstairs. So once I got upstairs, I couldn't come back downstairs, but he was there to help me up and down until I reassured him that with the Lord's help and being on my side, that I could make it okay at home by myself. Amen. And once he got that through his mind, that my mom is going to be okay, well, everything was all right. So I thank you all. You all continue to pray for me, and I will continue to be that of what God wants me to be, and that is a servant. Amen.
Anybody had any cry practice? Practice in cry. Until I reach the other side, I won't have to cry. I pray that you spend the rest of your day loving and encouraging one another. sacrificial effort to come to the Lord's Supper Wednesday night. Bible study and the Lord's Supper. You can be saved without the church, but you cannot spiritually grow without the church. And that's why you're stagnant. And when trouble comes, you're going to think you're helping the cave. The cave of depression, cave of oppression. Then they got a financial cage. You ever been in that one? A cave of sickness. You're going to need a refuge. Get right, church, and let's go home. Get right, church, and let's go home. Get right, church. Get right, church. Get right, church. Let's go home.
First of all, for the privilege of prayer, to be able to call on your name, to make our requests to you, to petition you, Lord, because you hear our cry. You say, cast all our cares on you, because you care for us. Thank you for this preacher this morning. Thank you for this word this morning. You're a God who hears and answers prayers. Then we thank you, Father God, for all these requests. These rededications. You know what the need is, our Father. Pray you will meet the need, our Father. Bless Sister Sion, our Father, Sister Sasha. Thank you for healing her body. Thank you for Brother Tyrone this morning, for healing his body, our Father, bringing him back, rededicating his life to you. Thank you for all of these requests, our Father, that have been made on your behalf. Touch each one here, Father God, under the sound of my weak voice. We pray for traveling grace as we go to our various destinations. You will allow us to make it that safe. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen. Now may the grace of God, the sweet communion of the Holy Spirit, rest, rule about us, miss our love, all the children of God say.